There's a town in America where retirees live in full-sized homes for less than the price of a new iPhone. And no, it's not in Florida or Arizona. It's in a quiet valley most people have never heard of. You're not supposed to know this, but some of the best retirement towns in the country are hidden far from the beach, in mountain passes, wine regions, even old railroad towns. One of them bans chain restaurants entirely. Another has homes cheaper than a used Honda Civic. And number 3, you won't believe what's illegal there. Sedona is one of those towns that feels like it was designed by a retired painter on a spiritual awakening. The red rock cliffs literally glow at sunset. No filter needed, no Instagram hype required. Every evening, the sky turns into a watercolor swirl of orange, violet, and gold, while the air smells faintly of juniper and desert sage. You might think it's all just scenery, but here's the twist. Sedona's not just beautiful, it's bizarrely magnetic. And not just in the spiritual sense. Seriously, there are actual energy vortexes scattered through the town. Locals meditate there. Tourists line up to feel the pull. Whether you believe in it or not, there's something eerie about how many retirees move here and never leave. It's like nature grabs them by the soul and refuses to let go. The town itself is packed with upscale spas, art galleries, and organic cafes where people sip cactus water and casually mention their Reiki certification. But don't be fooled by the peace and patchouli. Sedona's got serious money under the surface. The median home price recently soared past $900,000. That's more than 3 times the national average and higher than many parts of California. But here's the kicker. Retirees still flood in. Why? Low crime, clean air, year-round beauty, and a deep sense of calm you won't find in golf course communities packed with golf carts and HOA drama. Downsides? Oh, there are a few. Tour buses in the summer, overpriced groceries, and zero tolerance for fast food chains. McDonald's had to paint its arches turquoise to match the scenery. True story. But if you're looking for retirement that feels more like a daily retreat than a waiting room, Sedona might just seduce you. But don't get too comfy, because the next town has views and prices that make Sedona look like a Beverly Hills fantasy. Hood River, Oregon might just be the only town in America where retirees casually windsurf on Tuesday mornings and crush apples for craft cider by lunch. It sits in the Columbia River Gorge, tucked between towering evergreen cliffs and rows of pear and cherry orchards that look like they were arranged by a Pinterest board with a rustic obsession. The air is fresh enough to bottle, and on most days, you'll catch a light breeze rolling in from the river, unless it's one of those hang-on-to-your-hat gusts that make the locals grin and tourists panic. This town isn't just pretty, it's athletic. Seniors here walk daily in trail shoes, not loafers. They kayak, they hike, they even ski in the winter thanks to nearby Mount Hood. And yet, for all that movement, there's a strange stillness in the town. It's quiet, clean, safe. Just over 8,000 people live here, and the crime rate is lower than the national average by a wide margin. Local restaurants serve farm-to-table everything, and there's always a food truck festival hiding around some corner. But before you grab your checkbook and hiking poles, let's talk trade-offs. Median home prices hover around $650,000 to $50,000. Not outrageous, but definitely not a steal. The town has one main hospital, and for specialized care, you're probably heading into Portland, a 2-hour drive away, which isn't ideal if you sprain something during those ambitious windsurfing lessons. Also, don't expect a Target or Costco. This place prioritizes indie over instant, but that's kind of the magic. Hood River feels like a small town that accidentally became cool without selling its soul. And if you thought retiring in a windsurfing paradise was unique, wait until you hear about the southern jazz town where retirees live better than bankers, on a fraction of the cost. El Dorado, Arkansas sounds like a made-up place from a Mark Twain novel. But it's very real, and for retirees, it's a southern plot twist nobody saw coming. Picture this, a charming downtown square with historic brick buildings, an Art Deco theater, and jazz music floating out of open windows. Now imagine buying a 2-bedroom house just blocks from it for under $90,000. No, that's not a typo. In El Dorado, home prices are lower than a used Prius, and the vibe? Surprisingly highbrow for a town with a population under 18,000. This place used to be an oil boom town, and while the derricks have mostly quieted, the money they left behind funded an unexpected cultural revival. There's a symphony, a music and arts district, and yes, an annual jazz festival that actually draws a crowd. You might stroll past retired teachers, ex-oil workers, and aging musicians all sipping sweet tea on the same porch. It feels like Mayberry with a saxophone. But as with every small-town steal, there's a catch. Dining options lean heavily on the comfort food side. Expect catfish, chicken fried steak, and barbecue so good it should come with a warning label. If you're looking for quinoa bowls or oat milk lattes, you might want to pack a cooler. The weather's another twist. Blazing summers and surprisingly chilly winters, thanks to its location near the Louisiana border. Still, for those who want charm over chaos and savings over status, El Dorado delivers. Retirees here stretch their dollars without sacrificing dignity, and they do it in a town where strangers still wave, and parking is always free. But don't get too cozy, because the next town has Shakespeare, mountain views, and a crime rate so low it's practically fictional. Staunton, Virginia is the kind of town where retirement looks like a Victorian novel, minus the corsets, plus really good coffee. Nestled in the Shenandoah Valley, Staunton is cobblestone streets, wraparound porches, and church bells chiming through the fog. It's the birthplace of Woodrow Wilson, home to a world-class Shakespeare theater, and somehow still has a population under 25,000. Retirees here don't just garden. They attend live performances of King Lear in a replica of the Globe Theater. And yes, there's an actual Globe Theater. Staunton has leaned fully into its artsy, intellectual energy without losing its small-town roots. You can find locally made goat cheese at the farmer's market one minute and then watch a sword fight on stage the next. The surrounding mountains offer stunning trails and misty overlooks that feel like a Bob Ross painting brought to life. Crime? Almost non-existent. This place is so safe, the biggest scandal last year was a rogue chicken wandering into City Hall. The median home price is still below $300,000, a deal, especially for a town with this much culture and curb appeal. But let's not romanticize too hard. Uber drivers? Rare. Public transport? Almost mythical. And if your knees aren't a fan of hills, be warned. Staunton was built before the invention of level sidewalks. Still, for the retiree who craves peace with a side of poetry, this place delivers. It's a town where people still make eye contact. Bookstores are alive and well, and nobody rushes you for lingering over a cup of tea. But if this sounds too quiet, wait until you see the sun-drenched valley where retirees live in adobe homes. Eat chili for breakfast and tan in January. The Mesilla Valley in New Mexico feels like retirement inside a painting. Adobe houses bathed in warm desert light, chile ristras hanging from every doorway, and skies so wide they practically swallow you whole. Located just outside of Las Cruces, this valley isn't just scenic, it's drenched in personality. Think spicy breakfast burritos at sunrise, weekly farmers markets loaded with local pecans and green chili, and sunsets so vivid you'll question reality. It's not unusual to see retirees here tending desert gardens in the morning, taking yoga classes in the plaza by noon, and dancing to mariachi music under string lights by evening. It sounds like a vacation brochure, except it's real life. Housing is shockingly affordable. The median home price sits comfortably under $280,000, with even lower costs if you're okay living just outside city limits. And with 280 sunny days a year, retirees here practically forget what rain feels like. But don't pack your sandals just yet. Summers? Brutal. We're talking 100-degree afternoons that melt your driveway and your motivation. Locals survive with iced tea, shade trees, and strategic siestas. And while the town itself offers charm in spades, don't expect endless variety. If you crave big city museums, Michelin-star dining, or robust nightlife, this isn't your vibe. But if peace, heat, and flavor are your love languages, the Mesilla Valley delivers. It's a place where retirees embrace simplicity, soak in sun, and stay active without a gym membership. One downside? The green chili addiction is real, and once it hits, there's no going back. But hang tight, because the next town might just top it all with cascading waterfalls, small-town wine tastings, and a view that looks like retirement fell in love with a postcard. Retiring in New York usually sounds like a nightmare of taxes, traffic, and neighbors yelling across apartment walls. But the Finger Lakes region flips that script like a Hallmark movie with wine. Picture deep blue lakes that stretch for miles, wrapped in rolling hills and rows of family-owned vineyards. Now add in cozy cottages, farmers markets, and retirees sipping locally made Riesling while watching geese skim across the water. That's life here, peaceful, crisp, and weirdly cinematic. This isn't just one town, but a collection of small ones like Skaneateles, Canandaigua, and Hammondsport, each with its own quirks, but all sharing that same magical blend of water, wine, and whisper-quiet living. The air smells like apples in the fall, the snow falls soft and steady in winter, and summer is perfection. You'll find retirees kayaking in the morning, antique shopping by afternoon, and gathering around bonfires at night like teenagers with better back support. But don't let the romance fool you. Winters here are serious. Think icy driveways, blizzards, and salt stains on everything you own. And while the scenery's priceless, the price tags vary. Some lakeside homes flirt with $1 million, especially near Ithaca or Seneca Lake. But go just a few miles inland, and prices drop fast, even dipping below $250,000 in less touristy spots. Healthcare access is solid thanks to nearby hospitals in places like Rochester and Syracuse. But don't expect fast food chains on every corner. This region prioritizes local over loud. It's perfect for retirees who want nature, quiet, and a glass of wine that didn't travel cross-country. And if you think wine country is peaceful, just wait. The next town offers ocean breezes, lavender fields, and a beauty so fragile, it might disappear altogether. Tucked along California's central coast, the Lompoc Valley feels like a retirement town that someone accidentally left off the tourist maps. While the rest of California chases beach crowds and sky-high prices, Lompoc quietly blooms with wildflowers, ocean breezes, and a rhythm so slow it almost feels sacred. The first thing you'll notice? The lavender fields. In spring, they stretch across the landscape like a watercolor dream, drawing photographers, bees, and retirees who came for a weekend and ended up staying forever. And just beyond the flowers, the Pacific whispers in the distance, close enough to cool the air, far enough to avoid the real estate insanity of places like Santa Barbara. Lompoc itself is a mix of old-school charm and small-town ease. You'll find art murals tucked between taquerias, mom-and-pop bakeries, and a wine trail that rivals Napa in taste, but not in price. Here, the median home still hovers around $500,000, which is shockingly affordable for coastal California. Crime's low, the weather's mild year-round, and mornings often start with fog rolling over the hills like something out of a dream. But it's not all perfect. There's tension in the air. Development is creeping in, with new housing tracts threatening to erase the town's quiet beauty. Longtime locals worry that the secret is getting out, and they're not wrong. More people are moving in, and the charm that made Lompoc feel untouched might not last forever. It's a town on the edge of the ocean, of growth, of change. Retire here now, and you might catch it before the transformation. But if you're too late, the next town still has room. It's cheaper, quieter, and packed with barns, bluegrass, and more peace than most cities even remember. The Shenandoah Valley isn't just a place, it's a feeling. Wide open land, misty mornings, and hills that roll on forever. It's the kind of spot where time slows down just enough for you to notice how blue the sky actually is. For retirees, it's a dream wrapped in flannel and fresh air. Picture sitting on your porch with a cup of strong coffee, the sound of birdsong drifting through the trees, and nothing but green fields stretching to the horizon. This valley, tucked between the Blue Ridge and Allegheny Mountains, is home to a handful of small towns like Harrisonburg, Waynesboro, and Woodstock, all offering low crime, friendly neighbors, and homes that often sell for under $300,000. That's right, you can have acreage, peace, and a wood-burning stove for less than the price of a New York City studio apartment. The pace here is slow in the best way. Farmers markets replace fast food, local fiddlers play in town squares, and people still wave when they pass each other on the road. But before you fall too deep into this pastoral daydream, here's the catch. If you need nightlife, trendy shopping, or reliable cell service on every back road, this valley might test your patience. Chain restaurants are rare. The nearest airport could be 2 hours away. And unless you're into bluegrass and baking from scratch, the culture shift might feel like time travel. But for those seeking serenity, space, and savings, Shenandoah is the jackpot. And just when you think it couldn't get more peaceful, the next valley town offers something even wilder. Retirees living off the grid in luxury cabins, where the neighbors are moose and the biggest problem is deciding whether to fish or hike that day. If you've ever dreamed of retiring off the grid, but without giving up hot showers or your wine collection, the Bitterroot Valley in Montana might be your paradise in disguise. This place looks like a painting that never ends. Towering pine-covered mountains, crystal-clear rivers that snake through open fields, and skies so wide they feel like freedom itself. Located in the southwestern corner of Montana, the valley is dotted with tiny frontier towns like Hamilton and Darby, where everyone knows your name, and your dog's name too. Retirees here live in log cabins and custom-built homes tucked into the trees, many with massive decks overlooking nothing but wilderness. It's peaceful, wild, absolutely stunning, and somehow still affordable. Median home prices in the valley often fall below $400,000, an incredible deal considering the acreage, privacy, and jaw-dropping scenery. Want 5 acres with a trout stream and a barn? Here, that's not a fantasy. It's a Zillow listing. But here's the trade-off. You give up convenience for calm. No Uber, no Postmates, no 24-hour pharmacy. If you want pizza, you might be baking it yourself after chopping the wood for the stove. Winter is long, snow is deep, and cell service? Let's just say it's polite to warn friends you might vanish for a few days. But for many retirees, that's the point. This isn't about escaping to comfort. It's about embracing nature, self-reliance, and silence. The Bitterroot Valley isn't for everyone, but for those craving space, solitude, and the occasional moose sighting from your kitchen window, it's a dream come true. And just when you thought it couldn't get stranger, the final valley town actually bans chain stores altogether and somehow turned that rule into luxury. Ojai Valley, California doesn't just feel different. It is different. There's something about the air, the light, the silence. It's not loud like LA, not flashy like Palm Springs. Instead, it whispers to you like a secret only a few people are supposed to hear. Tucked just 90 minutes northwest of Los Angeles, Ojai is a lush, sun-drenched bowl surrounded by pink-tinged mountains that glow at sunset. The locals call it the pink moment, and for a few minutes every evening, the whole valley blushes with color. That's not poetry, that's physics. It's real. Retirees here spend their days walking olive groves, browsing indie bookstores, sipping fresh pressed juice and soaking in natural hot springs. But what makes Ojai truly unique is what it doesn't allow. No chain stores, no franchises, not even a Starbucks. Everything in town is fiercely local, from handmade candles to $12 organic muffins. And somehow that lack of corporate sprawl creates a sense of peace that's hard to explain. It's not cheap. Median home prices sit around $1 million, and that's if you don't mind being a few minutes from downtown. But you're not just buying a home here. You're buying into a lifestyle, a community that values nature, creativity, and slowing down. Crime is low, the air is clean, and the vibe is somewhere between yoga retreat and spiritual sabbatical. But don't be fooled. It's not all incense and enlightenment. Ojai has earthquakes, wildfires, and prices that can make your wallet cry. Still, for those who can swing it, this valley offers a kind of peace that's almost impossible to find elsewhere. And if you thought this town was strange, wait until our next episode, where one retirement town literally pays people to move there, but with a wild catch. So now I'm curious, would you give up every chain store forever if it meant retiring in a place like this? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more weirdly perfect places like this one, hit subscribe. The next list might include a town that pays retirees just to move in.